And the other big story of the day is US interest rates, because the decision by the Federal Reserve has never been so keenly watched. The Fed is tipped to cut its benchmark rate from 1% to 0.5%, and that would take the cost of borrowing to the lowest level since 1954. Some analysts predict rates will fall to near zero, but there's no doubt the Fed is under pressure to revive the American economy. So far, it's failed to prevent it from sliding into recession. The BBC's Karen Nye has more from New York.
On Fifth Avenue in New York, holiday shoppers appear to be doing more looking than buying. Everyone we asked said they're concerned about the economy, and the prospect of even lower interest rates didn't reassure many. Do you think lower interest rates would make you feel better about the economy?
Gee, I don't know. I'm hoping it helps the housing market, but it's very hard to get mortgages today. So if the rates are lower and the banks aren't lending, we're still in the same problems we have right now.
Well, I mean, interest rates are historically pretty low now, and yet there still seems to be a real credit crunch. The banks don't seem to be lending. So the original plan to underwrite the banks to some extent so that they would stimulate the economy through lending doesn't seem to have worked, at least to date.
It would have been great when everything was high and people had $10,000 on their credit cards, but that's not going to be the world. In other words, the interest rates that low only help people when they're spending a lot of money on credit.
Skeptics say that lowering interest rates won't help because consumers aren't worried about higher interest rates. They're worried about losses in the stock market, in their home values, and maybe about their jobs next. And businesses can see that consumers are pulling back, so they're worried about demand shrinking. Economists like Dean Mackey say it's not unusual to hear such pessimism, but lower interest rates can help in the long run.
Interest rate policy does ultimately work. That's what we've seen in previous recessions. When the Fed lowers rates enough, and when borrowing rates to consumers and corporations come down enough, that does over time help the economy to heal.
It's that uncertain time horizon that's put consumer spending on hold, despite the usual temptation to splash out during the holidays. Karen Nye, BBC News, New York.
And we've just